Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to my broadcast. This is Barry Selby. My name is Barry Selby. That's a very interesting coincidence. And this is my daily Facebook Live. And before I get there, let's introduce myself once again. In case it's your first time watching me, I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert, helping strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. And I'm also a passionate champion of the divine feminine. And today's topic, by the way, is number 123 in an ongoing series of messages from the masculine to inspire the feminine heart. Still got content, so it keeps coming through. And today's topic was actually birthed from a conversation last night at dinner, and also from a discovery session with a possible client today. And it got me thinking on this topic about marriage and engagement, because I haven't talked about that before. I don't think I have anyway. But I wanted to sort of talk about the fact it's not a convenience. I'm not going to name names because I want to respect confidentiality. However, I get this feeling in one case from these two different women I spoke to, actually in both cases, that for them there was an attainment or an achievement or a level of accomplishment to be engaged. In one case it was like, is this all there is? Another one, it's, I really want that, at the cost of other things. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how I believe marriage and engagement fit in the paradigm of relationships. Since I do talk about relationships a lot, let's take it down the road a bit to the idea of engagement and marriage. Because if you're single and looking for a relationship, is that one of your visions? Is that one of your dreams? Is that where you want to go? And if you have an answer, please put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So, having worked with a lot of clients who've been through divorces, and having been raised in a family where my parents were together for almost 60 years, I've witnessed a spectrum of successful, broken marriages, discord, upsets. I almost got engaged myself, but didn't, so I had a drive-by. I was living with somebody, but I wasn't married. So I'm speaking from a different perspective perhaps than some people. I've not been through divorce. I've not had the marriage myself. But I've witnessed a lot. And I've studied a lot too and learned about different things. And a lot of people get married, to be blunt, for the wrong reasons. I know people who get engaged for the wrong reasons too. Now also there are those who get engaged for the right reasons and get married for the right reasons. I'm not saying everybody, but some people. And you know what, before I go any further, it's been on my mind, so I want to say this. For those of you who are watching me live, you know that today is the day after what happened in Las Vegas. And I've got a lot of friends in Las Vegas, so I want to just put out there my prayers and love for those of my friends who were involved in the experience and had to deal with all the fear and upset and frustration that was happening. So my prayers are with those in Las Vegas, so I want to say that now. Okay, but I don't want to make it about that. I want to get back on this topic, but I want to say that because it's in the news and it's on my awareness, and I want to talk about that, at least speak to that briefly. So back on topic. Marriage and engagement, which seems so different, especially considering Las Vegas is famous for the quickie marriage, so maybe there is relevance in a very strange sort of way. Okay, let me regroup in this for a second. For some people, marriage and engagement, both of them in fact, are milestones to achieve that once you've got them, it's like, okay, no big deal. For some people, marriage is a dream they've had since they were children because of the way they were raised or because of what they've seen in the world. And so to achieve that level of connection or status is a big goal. And none of these necessarily are good or bad. I'm just speaking to what I've seen and experienced and witnessed in people's choices. As I said last night, what I said before, talking to somebody earlier today, there was a sense I had that they were looking to get engaged as a requirement. Yeah. You're welcome, Jermaine. Sorry, for those watching on YouTube, on Facebook Live, I'm getting comments. So, yes, Jermaine, yeah, it was what happened yesterday was terrible. And you're welcome. So speaking to this topic and staying on topic, attempting to stay on topic, so because I want to get this topic out there, it's been on my mind. Okay, let me put it out this way. I don't have any rules about marriage or engagement in my coaching or in my own life. I believe that relationship at its highest level is the unification or the union between two people who choose to spend their lives together. For some people that involves marriage, and I might go down a certain path about the whole corporate monetization piece of that, because that's a whole other topic. But I want to speak to more the emotional side of it first. So we'll see where it goes. And if you have questions, please put in the comments and I'll respond. Either live if you're watching or in the replay afterwards. So I'm like, oh, I can see like 4 or 5 different tracks to go through, but I want to stay on track here. So first of all, marriage is an old paradigm, an old framework that nowadays doesn't seem to have much weight. And having realized the statistics are something like divorces on first marriage are something like 50%, or the statistics are about 5 years ago, I believe it was. Divorce after first marriage was 50%. Divorce after second marriage was 70%. So practice doesn't make perfect with getting married, based on the statistics alone. However, I believe you can have marriage that works, whether you do it as a legal ceremony or as a spiritual or symbolic gesture, because marriage, I believe, is... yeah, I'm staying on track with today's message. Thank you. Sorry, when I say the word marriage, I'm getting the flashback to Princess Bride with Peter Cook going, marriage! Sorry. You have to see that clip. That was one of the funniest things I think I ever saw in the movie. If you haven't seen Princess Bride, by the way, very funny movie. Classic. I've seen it like a dozen times. But there's a scene about a forced marriage in there, which is a whole other conversation. But getting back to today's topic about marriage, see, I'm distracting myself. It's not. I don't need your help to be distracting. I do it myself. I believe marriage is not something that requires a legal piece of paper. Think about that one for a second, because a lot of people say, well, marriage is this requirement, it's this rules, it's this structure, you must do it legally and have it done by a minister and then get justice of the peace. My brother has been married twice. He's in his second marriage, which is the real one, the first one. So he did the first one in a church, which is a whole messed up thing too, because my family's Jewish. And he had his marriage at a Church of England church, back in England, of course, Church of England church, because they couldn't get married in a synagogue unless she converted to Judaism. But he could get married with her in the church because they didn't require him to convert to Church of England. Religions are religions. That marriage lasted a year. I'm sorry I'm outing you, Ian, but just saying this as a model of an example. His second marriage, which is the real one, and he's been together with Chiara for 15 years now? More. And it's their life, it's their journey, they're together for life, and I love that and respect both of them, beautiful people. But their marriage was done in a registry office, which is the same as the City Hall over here, registry office in London. And yet that was probably the more loving, fun, exciting, joyful experience of a wedding I think I've been to. Certainly more so than the first one. The first one was very more formal and rigid and religious. So marriage has its own unique flavour and expression of how you do it. But I want to speak underneath that, which is the commitment to it. Because marriage is not an achievement. It's not a goal to be achieved. I would frame it, the way I would say it, probably the way I'm trying to express it, is marriage is opening a door to a new way of life that you're committing to, ideally for the rest of your life. There's another piece in there, something else in there beside that, but let me say another way. And try to emphasize. Marriage is something that is a choice between two people, not 15 members of the family, but two people who are choosing to unify their forces of good to work together, live together, express together, share together, and journey together in growth, love, and expansion. That sounds pretty good. But see, that doesn't require any legal requirement. That whole explanation I'm putting out as an idea doesn't require a piece of paper, doesn't require a wedding audience, doesn't require a minister or a legal document or a church or a DJ or a wedding dress. See, the thing is, marriage doesn't have to be a show and tell. It can actually be an inner agreement between two people. Engagement the same way. An engagement really was the prelude to the wedding. It was a stepping stone to try on that ring and try on that connection and that commitment before you got married. But it's changed over the years. For a lot of people, that engagement ring on this finger would be a marker as a placeholder. It wasn't even the real deal for a lot of people. In fact, some people got engaged just to say, stop asking me. Seriously, people would do that. Sorry, men would do that. To say, honey, stop asking me, here's your engagement ring. It was a payoff in a way. Again, not loving based, not expansion based, not focused on what it's for. So it's not a convenience, as I said in the title. I believe that marriage, particularly, as rather than engagement, thank you, I'm glad you like the message, I believe that marriage itself is a sacred opportunity to commit to another individual, and I'm not talking genders here, another individual, because I'm inclusive about this conversation, to be together in a partnership that transcends each of their lives. That marriage has the possibility, has the availability, and has the inclusivity to expand the relationship from being just a couple to something greater than the two. In fact, some of this I talk about as the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, as it were, and a marriage can be that for people who choose it. But there are people, as I said, with the divorce rates being 50% on first marriage and 70% on second marriage, I think it's even higher on third. Practice doesn't make perfect. So the reason or the way or the why behind why you choose marriage might be better served if you really put your focus into what are you bringing to the relationship, what are you expecting from the relationship, and what do you want to do together as a partnership. Because that, for me, is more important than a piece of paper. Now, I don't want... Yeah, this other piece is coming up, so I want to keep speaking about it. It keeps bugging me, so let me talk about it. The function of marriage is not what we think it is, if you look back in history particularly. With the way things were in the old days, medieval times and stuff, marriage was a legal agreement to basically get the woman off of the parents' house into the man's house. It was not pretty, and it wasn't romantic, it wasn't beautiful, it was a legal agreement. And it was not, I don't think it was what most women would expect nowadays, and most women would not expect it either, but that was kind of how it was. And in fact, in some ways, up until the 50s even, men would court women who were still living with their parents at home. Because back then, women often didn't have their own place, their own bank accounts, their own cars, their own mobility and freedom. They were still living at the parents' house until the man would come to court her, the boyfriend, and actually get her engaged and then get her married, and then she move out of the house into his house. It's not the way we do things nowadays, but 50, 60 years ago, that's the way it was done, still that recently. So marriage has changed, I believe, its format over the last 300-400 years. But I believe we haven't yet evolved to a full expression of what marriage can be, because again, as I said, marriage is not necessarily about a piece of paper, it's about an agreement and a choice. And especially nowadays, as men and women have evolved, I hope, to the degree of being autonomous and being independent, so we don't need that codependent function of relationship, which I hate talking about, and I hate seeing people living in, I want to stamp it out. The recognition of people choosing to be in a relationship, the recognition that people can be together in a growing, expansive possibility of relationship, that's where it's defined as a unity and a union of two whole, complete individuals coming together in the choice of a marriage of two people to live life in a unified, joint focus in the same direction. Again, none of that requires a piece of paper or a minister, priest, courthouse, any of that stuff. It's between two people. The problem with marriage is it's been sold as a glorified show. The tuxedos and the wedding gowns and the page boys and page girls, the flower children giving up the flowers, the family expenditures and spending $25,000, $30,000 minimum on catering. It's insane. And the recognition that we as individuals can choose partnership that doesn't require a massive outlay of money, a legal binding agreement. Yes, some people do it for the tax break, which is another reason why I don't like it, because it's almost the government saying you should get married to save money. No. You should get married because you love each other and you want to be together. It's not a convenience, as I said. That's what the title's about. Marriage and engagement are not a convenience. You know? In fact, yes, answering a question on the screen now about there were chosen mothers in the family. One of the people I was just talking to recently, she actually was her first marriage was an arranged marriage, which she didn't stay in. She got out of that. Now, there are people I know who are in arranged marriages that live there for the whole rest of their lives. Thankfully, personally, I appreciate that not being the case anymore for many people, because you have the freedom to choose, ideally, don't you? That would be ideal. When it's chosen for you by parents who are doing it out of a need for, well, let's go back to turn of the last century, not the 2100, but the 2000s, back in the 1900s. European monarchy was mostly supported by arranged marriages. Queen Victoria was a master matchmaker, by the way. If you look in history books, Queen Victoria, actually Queen Elizabeth I, I come from England, I know my European history quite well, were master manipulating matchmakers to get their princes and princesses around Europe all married together to create a unified Europe of royalty. Most of European royalty is related to each other. Did you know that? Because that's the thing that they did. So talking about, arranged marriages, which is what happened in the Asian cultures and in Indian cultures and other cultures like that, it was in Europe too, in the first world countries. Well, it didn't in America so much, although I'm sure it happened occasionally times where there were shotgun marriages. That's a whole other conversation. But unless I'm going on a tangent there. But those people have been married who have been divorced since. Let me speak to that for a second as well. For those of you who have been through marriage and divorce, you deserve an amazing relationship of any type you want. And if you want to get married again, you deserve it too. I just encourage you to do the work to excavate the history, the pain that's still in there, because most people who've been through divorce are still carrying around that wound inside, they're hoping that their new partner will fix. It's not their job. It's your job. So if you're someone who has been divorced and looking to have a new marriage or a new relationship that leads to marriage, you can have that, absolutely, definitely say that, but definitely do the work to resolve, heal, complete that, and forgive the past, so you can be free to have a new relationship that really can be whole and additive to you versus filling some hole you think you have inside. You're not Swiss cheese. You don't have holes to be filled by some other person. That's an error, a very big error in approach, by the way, which I talked about before. There was another piece that was floating around. Oh yeah. This is just added back to the thing about medieval times and the way they were arranged marriages. If you remember, for those of you who maybe don't remember this if you're younger, there was a thing called the dowry, which was basically the one it was described once as the bribe of the parents to the prospective bridegroom to receive the bride, as in they were paying him off to take her off their hands. Yeah, that was another form of marriage that was happening back in the late 1800s, 1900s. Actually, before that too, as well, happened out here in America as well as it happened in European countries too. So marriage has got a bad. Well, I won't say marriage has got a bad rap, but marriage needs to have a bad rap because marriage has been perpetrated and put upon people without their freedom of choice, without their desires, or without their intentions being met. So, yes, marriage is not a convenience. It's also not a weapon to be used against somebody, which some parents did on their children. Marriage is a choice. And I'm going to come back to this and really underline this as I finish up. Marriage is something that all of us can choose with a partner, gay or straight, as a choice, as an intention, as a commitment to each other, not to anybody else, not to a state, government, or anything else. A commitment to each other to express and unify your love, your partnership, your joint focus in the world, to be in harmony and alignment, and to be expanded beyond what you can do individually. If you look at marriage that way, I suspect you'll have a much healthier way of living life together. One other thing, things keep coming up. In the traditional marriage format, It's all about till death do us part, in richer and for poorer, in sickness and in health, all those things. Actually did it backwards, but you know what I mean. One of my teachers said, and I've been pondering this for a long time, that marriage isn't about till death do us part, but until the loving ends. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the answer I would agree with. I do understand that, and I feel it's probably true to a degree. But again, if you take marriage as a personal couple agreement, not a legal agreement, then that makes more sense to me. Because you want to be with somebody that you want to be loving with and growing with. Now, if you fall out of love for a minute, that's another story. But if you realize the relationship has ended, there's no connection, there's just apathy, antipathy, there's no connection to each other, then perhaps parting the ways is ideal. So, to death do us part, I don't necessarily agree with either. There are people who do firmly believe in that, and some people are upset because they didn't do that. So again, as I said before, if you have a divorce in your history, I implore, if you haven't done it, is have forgiveness for yourself and for your partner, and for anybody else involved in the situation, so you can be free to move on. Because that's part of the practice of loving yourself. Okay, I've covered about 17 things here, so hopefully this all makes sense. I can't summarize because I don't remember what it said all of the time, and you can also watch the replay and catch what I said. If you have any questions or comments below, please put them in the comments. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. If you're on Facebook Live or on YouTube, I can whatever it ends up being, I will answer the comments there. If you have questions, you want to get help, reach out to me. This is my 123rd Facebook Live talk about message from the masculine. All of this, all the previous ones, and this one will be on my website under messages under my video blog on barryselby.com. It'll also be on my YouTube channel, which is Barry Selby. All my social media is Barry Selby, by the way, under Messages from the Masculine playlist. And it'll be on my business page on Facebook. So you can find me everywhere. And I have no idea what tomorrow's topic would be. This one wasn't clear until about half an hour before I started. So I hope this has been of use to you, of benefit to you, and I hope that you'll take some food for thought. These are intended to provide you with inspiration, provocation, and something else. Suggestions, perhaps. I don't know. I'll think of a corny catchphrase for that eventually. But I hope this has been of help to you. If you're here for the first time, thanks for watching. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. And again, if you know anybody who should watch this, please share it with them. And as always, please, for your own sake, take care of yourself so you can then take care of other people. Your life will improve dramatically. Okay? I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves.